This is Business Report Africa, brought to you by your digital First Pan-African News Network, TOS TV. I am Ruel Panawo. InterSwitch, Nigeria's fintech company, is setting things in place to launch its new business payment solutions in Uganda and Kenya. Akim Lawal, InterSwitch's head of payments processing, has said that the QuickTeller business solution will be launched in Uganda and Kenya in April or May, after it starts this week in Nigeria, and with time, the company has plans to leverage its partnership with Visa to spread across the continent. Now, even though about 48% of GDP is generated by Nigerian small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, many of them lack digital transaction tools, and this has been a disadvantage for them, especially during this pandemic. The QuickTeller company's webpage for retailers that can be used to share with customers and allow them accept online or offline payments also helps potential business clients, associates, and suppliers to be sought after, and this can help start the COVID recovery phase for them, as businesses in Nigeria, Kenya, and Uganda will get 3 months of free transactions and access to InterSwitch's current portfolio of 5 million customers. Many more advantages are lined up. After the National Energy Regulator of South Africa appealed a ruling in July 2020 that enabled Eskom boost revenue by 69 billion rand over the next 3 years, South Africa's High Court had ruled that Eskom Holdings SOC Limited can recover 10 billion rand, which is $681 million from consumers. This has enabled the company to raise electricity tariffs by 16%. The court order, which allows Eskom to recover costs incurred for the production of electricity, also allowed the tariff increase to be implemented from April 1st. Independent economist Elise Kruger has said that raising prices will place further pressure on the disposable income of citizens, especially the middle income groups, and results in more pain for industrial and retail businesses. However, Eskom is struggling under 464 billion rand of debt and has repeatedly said that electricity tariffs do not reflect its costs. On February 17, 2021, Western Cape Premier Alan Winde presented his State of the Province address, giving details on the projects the province is currently working on, touching on a number of areas including job creation, energy, transportation, and post-COVID-19 economic recovery. The Premier also warned that the province was still facing troubled times and a third wave of COVID-19 would make vaccine rollout essential. Based on these concerns, Winde indicated that the province was going ahead with its plans to procure additional vaccines so as not to be caught off guard. Now, while they have accepted that international tourism will not recover to its state of normalcy this year due to the travel restrictions, Western Cape has plans to attract digital nomads through a new remote working visa, leaning on the fact that Cape Town was recently named on the list of the 50 best cities for remote working. According to Winde, these digital nomads are a new kind of tourist who will stay in their province for 3 months instead of 3 weeks, enjoying our tourism offer while working on their laptop. He believes that if the red tape is removed and travelers are welcome, they have all it takes to be the best remote working location in the world. To make this happen, South Africa must introduce a remote working visa. On Tuesday, February 16th, the Nigerian federal government revealed that a total of 56.1 million poor and vulnerable Nigerians were yet to be identified and registered in the National Social Register, which is a tool of the federal government used for coordinating various efforts towards reducing poverty. Data from the National Bureau of Statistics has placed the number of poor Nigerians below the poverty line at about 82.9 million, and only 26.8 million persons in this category had been registered in the NSR. In 2019, the NBS estimated 82.9 million Nigerians lived below the poverty line on less than $1.90, and now the socio-economic implications of COVID-19 has led an addition of about 10 million more. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadiya Farouk, said efforts were being made to increase the number of poor Nigerians in the register, as 20 million more people were to be added to the database and held in the Rapid Response Register, which is a shock-responsive intervention register specifically targeted at urban informal workers impacted by the current COVID-19 pandemic. More on Business Report Africa after the break. Thank you for staying with us. In Apapa, Lagos, fuel marketers have started adjusting their petrol pump prices due to the supply shortage facing private depot. Some filling stations in Ogun and Lagos states increased the pump price of petrol to 170 naira per litre on Tuesday from 162 naira per litre. Mr. Mike Osatsuyi, National Operation Controller, Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, has said members of his association had to increase the pump price because they bought the product at 160 to 161 naira from depot owners. In the previous week, members of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, disrupted loading of petroleum products at private depots in Apapa on Wednesday, as well as Ibadan, Musimi and Ejigbo, and depots belonging to the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. They picketed the facilities to protest their inability to get products due to a new payment method introduced by the Petroleum Products Marketing Company, a subsidiary of the NNPC. Osatsuyi explained that the 170 naira was still very cheap because his members were buying from Dapman at 160 to 161 naira and then had to add their transportation costs to it. The PPMC had told marketers to register under the new payment method called PPMC Customer Expert before they could buy products from it, which means that payment has to be made online. Many private depots in Apapa, Lagos, from where many marketers get petroleum products for distribution to other states, were running dry of petrol due to supply shortage. However, Dr. Kenny Obateru, Group General Manager, Group Public Affairs Division of the NNPC Corporation, has said that there was no shortage of petrol supply from the NNPC and their ex-depot price had not been increased either. One of the major private depots told marketers to stop payment for the petrol because of the supply shortage and the uncertainty over when it would get the product. A top official of a Lagos-based oil marketing company who chose to remain anonymous said that there had been erratic supply of the petrol to private depot in Apapa since last week. Air Namibia has been instructed by an European company to return two of its biggest airplanes this week after the government took decisions to shut the airline down. The two leased Airbus A330-200 aircraft, two Airbus A319 planes, and four Embraer ERJ-T35s are included in Air Namibia's fleet. And while Air Namibia's lease agreement only on the Airbus plane stretches originally from May 2012 to October 2025, the government's decision to shut the national airline down means this agreement would have to be nullified at a cost of around 2.4 billion Namibian dollars. A company in Ireland, Airlease AT, wrote to Air Namibia last Friday, explaining they would trigger a clause in the contract allowing them have the two Airbus aircraft returned. Patrick Waldron, the European company's director, wrote to Air Namibia's acting chief executive officer, Theo Imberia, saying the national airline has defaulted and expressly reserved the rights to retake possession of the aircraft. In the past week, others have sent emails to Air Namibia on the need for them to return the airplanes to Europe and the processes involved. Around 500 million Namibian dollars was paid per year to cover aircraft leases, and maintenance will cost about 414 million Namibian dollars. 2.4 billion Namibian dollars would need to be paid to foreign owners, and Air Namibia may forfeit the security deposit, currently sitting with the lesser amounting to 94 million Namibian dollars. It is believed that recklessness of some sort was displayed on the part of the Minister of Finance, Lipumbu Shimi, and the Minister of Public Enterprises, Leon Juse, when they announced the liquidation of the airline without concluding negotiations with key creditors. The Namibian government would need to produce 3.8 billion Namibian dollars, to go ahead with voluntary liquidation, which would be used to settle agreements prior to maturity, including employee severance pay, aircraft lease, the liability of advance ticket sales, and engine support agreements. The debt accumulated by the airline so far has amounted to 1.6 billion Namibian dollars. All assets would have to be listed once a liquidator is appointed and sold off to recover funds to repay creditors. Morocco's Minister of Economy, Finance and Administration Reform, Rabat Mohamed Ben Shaboun, said on Tuesday, February 16, that roughly 10% of money transfers from Moroccan exports are directed to investment, mainly to property and real estate, with about 15% of these remittances put in savings, while the major part is sent for support for families. The General Confederation of Moroccan Enterprises held a working session on investment opportunities in Morocco aimed at discussing means to boost post-COVID-19 economic recovery in the country. The economy minister stressed the importance of taking advantage of Moroccan experts' knowledge, as highly skilled Moroccans working and residing abroad have developed a commercial and technological network which Morocco can capitalize on to solve the issue of recovery. Benchaboun's statement comes in line with remittances for Moroccan export remittances to the country, which serves as continuance of an important driver of the national economy. Latest data from Morocco's central bank, Bank Al Maghrib (BAN), indicates that money transfer for Moroccans residing abroad reached about $7.35 billion in 2020. The bank anticipates an increase this year. According to a press release dated February 13th, India-based Sterling and Wilson Solar Limited signed an order worth $127.5 million in Egypt's Kom Ombo, scheduled to be commissioned by the first quarter of 2022. The order has been awarded from an unnamed Saudi Arabia-based renewable energy company. Sterling and Wilson Solar has already implemented over 322 megawatt Peak 5 projects in Benban Solar Park in Egypt. The firm's director and global CEO, Bikesh Ogra, said Sterling and Wilson Solar's consistent focus towards quality, performance, client centricity, and execution has helped us win projects in strategically located markets that have been conducive solar power policies and high solar resources. The Asian company was among 10 firms that expressed interest in bidding for a public tender to set up rooftop solar panels in the new administrative capital. On Wednesday, 17 February, Abu Dhabi Exports Office, ADEX, which doubles as the export financing arm of Abu Dhabi Fund for Development, ADFB, signed a $6 million loan agreement with the Egypt-based Emirati firm Jinan Pipes and Irrigation Systems, SAE. This fund will enable the company import raw material from Borouge, a leading petrochemicals company, to manufacture and supply irrigation systems to one of the world's largest refineries situated in Egypt. The amount will in turn help Jinan produce irrigation systems that will contribute to building the world's biggest sugar refinery in the country. The project will, amongst other things, boost Egypt's food security. The amounts will be used to fund Borouge's export of high-density polyethylene for the new Jinan irrigation system, which will cover a 76,000 hectare reclamation and cultivation project on desert land. Jinan Pipes and Irrigation Systems, JPIS, will produce pipes ranging from 32 mm to 60 mm in diameter for more than 700 pivot systems. The water will be drawn from wells drilled into the Nubian aquifer to irrigate land to produce 2.5 million tons of sugar beetroot annually. According to the Acting Director General of ADEX, Saeed Al-Daheri, the agreement is a perfect example of how the export financing entity can directly drive growth for UAE companies while expanding our national export economy. Thank you for watching Business Report Africa. Do follow us on social media at TOS TV Network on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at TOS TV Network. I am Ruel Panao. Bye for now.